back to another episode of the Critics Collective. I'm Legacy Lingo. I have the not so super fan Manny here with me, and Brandon V. Fletcher. And we're going to have an unpopular opinion about what's going on in the gaming industry. We will always be talking about stuff that's happening. This time, we're calling this episode Downsizing Production, where we talk about Microsoft's layoffs, and we talk about Sony announcing no physical copies. And of course, we'll probably end up, as we talk, touching on other things that are related or happening at the same time. But this is where our focus is. So we're going to start talking about the Microsoft layoffs. The last I heard, the number for immediate layoffs was 1,600 with expectation of about 3,200 for Microsoft dealing with Xbox. And the total number from Microsoft layoffs alone is as a whole is going to be about 4,800, which I did not expect that number. I knew that this day was coming, that there was going to be some layoffs, and we kind of talked about that on the last episode that we talked about with the delusion, or the premium delusion, and you guys can check that out where we kind of tapped on that, and we knew this was coming, but I definitely did not expect the numbers to be that high. Brandon, let me start with you. Like, what can you tell us about the layoffs with Microsoft and why we're here?
The crazy part is that it could have been worse.
That is crazy.
Some people were like, when the news came out, it was like, this is bad. But then, there was some other news that came out also, which I'm going to get to in a second, that kind of lessened the blow, but it's still bad. It's still pretty bad. It's just Microsoft's strategy the past few years basically hasn't worked. They went around buying up studios, smaller studios, and then bigger studios like Activision Blizzard, which I personally think that should have never happened. I think that's part of the reason this is happening also. I think that, you spend, I can't remember how much they spent, I don't know, 30 billion, 40 billion on a studio. You have to commit to it.
Right.
And so if you're going to do layoffs, the layoffs are likely not going to be at that company because you have to justify your purchase, right? Right. We're like, we already spent money on this. Well, I guess we get rid of some of the smaller studios,
Right.
So, but like their strategy has been this idea that, Game Pass is, a very popular service, right? It's the next Netflix of video games, people call it. Subscription model, you play whatever, not whatever, but, you can play some games. And a big part of that strategy was the big Microsoft titles day and date would be on Game Pass. So you didn't have to buy the game, right? You had Game Pass. Sony took the different route where, God of War comes out. It's not going to be on PlayStation Plus, right? You might have to wait a year. You might have to wait 2 years, before a game like that or Spider-Man ends up, being part of their subscription service. So they kind of took a different route, which I think was the smarter route.
Right.
So if you're paying for the subscription service, why would you go out and buy a physical copy of the game? That's kind of like where we are right now. And then not to mention, on top of that, the whole strategy was Xbox Anywhere, right? So it's like, it doesn't matter what device you have. You can use cloud gaming if you're on your phone, if you're on your computer, your PC, your Mac, or whatever, you can still play Xbox games. So in the end, it's like, okay, so why should we even buy an Xbox? Right. So there's that strategy. Then there was a strategy of like, well, we're just going to release our games on PS5 also. So again, why would anybody buy their box? Right. If you want to enjoy their games, you can practically enjoy them anywhere at this point.
Right.
And so, that previous regime, Phil Spencer, they got a lot of heat for that. And, he stepped down. But I don't think that's all on him. Right. Like when you work for companies like this, it's rare that you can just make these kind of unilateral decisions without the CEO knowing.
Right.
So like Microsoft CEO knew what the strategy was, right? It's not like they weren't talking. Mm-hmm. So for people to kind of blame Phil Spencer for this, I don't know. I don't buy that. I think the Microsoft leadership, they chose a strategy. It wasn't the right one. And now,
here we are.
Everybody's paying for it. So the good thing is that there are 5 studios that did not get shut down. So that was everybody's fear, was that some of these studios would get shut down. So there's Double Fine and Compulsion Games. Double Fine does like Psychonauts, stuff like that. And then Compulsion did South of Midnight recently. Then there is Undead Labs that does State of Decay. And then there's Ninja Theory that does Heavily Sore back in the day. And they did the Sinwa games. So those last two, they're being purchased by outside investors. So that's how
they'll still be around.
Right. And then the first two, Compulsion and Double Fine, they're back to owning it themselves. So they're going back indie, which is good. So like I said, it could have been worse, because I feel like that would have been there was one more studio, Arcane Leon. They are in the process of offloading that studio. So, and all of them have games coming out soonish, and some of them were just announced at the Microsoft showcase, earlier in June. So it's crazy that people are like seeing these games, and next thing you know, you're like, oh, Layoffs. It's like, okay, are these games going to still exist? And all the companies like, no, we're still on track to release these games. So,
okay. So before we get into silver lining for sure, before we get into the domino effect or the negative impact, because you mentioned some positive out there, I want to get Manny's thoughts before we dive deeper into it. Manny, what are your thoughts about this Microsoft situation and these layoffs?
Man, I'm not into Xbox that much. I'm more of a simpler Xbox guy. I mainly got an Xbox to play, Halo and games like Gears of War and even South of Midnight. But though that, like Brendan said, that started when they acquired those company for what, 69 billion.
Oh, that much.
That's money you got to make back somehow. And I knew when they were giving away free Xbox for the 25-year anniversary, people were gonna get fired. I was like, they've been too nice. I could hear the saxophone.
I was just about to say the same thing. People line to walk around with their free Xbox, but you hear that saxophone just getting louder and louder.
Yeah,
like, something ain't adding up.
Even with this round of layoffs started like right after they did that $1 billion purchase. I believe 2004, 24. Sorry, they started doing. They had 1,900 layoffs. And again back in the same year, another set of I think they closed a few other companies. And later that same year, they had about 600 people term. Then you had the July of last year, I believe Microsoft itself laid off about 9,000 people. So that purchase effect, that domino effect started as soon as they made that big purchase. So
you're basically telling me that they probably already have it mapped out. It's almost like they have a structured way of layoffs that they have already mapped out. They're just not saying it until we get there. Is that what you're telling me? Because it sounds like they have a sequence going here.
I think they dealt their hand too early. They made a too high of a bet on casino term, but trying to capitalize on everything, because when you have competition like Sony, who's killing the game with their product, you trying to buy every other company, trying to have your own exclusive games. I think they thought it was going to be a good idea. And what Brendan said, you could have Xbox everywhere. You can't, when you're trying to bring everybody into, and they had something good going on. I don't know where, what the CEO, what conversation they had with Phil Spencer to deviate from the original route they had. Because I think originally, before they bought Blizzard, they were in a good route. So when that happened, it was just all over the place.
So you do think that this is just a reaction of
even
because at first it sounded like it was almost like a strategic thing, but now are you saying that? And I'm asking both of you guys, is this just like, oh snap, we messed up, we got to lay people off because of the the time between each round of layoffs, it sounds like to me like this was part of a master plan. Am I being too critical of my thinking?
I think they thought it was probably gonna pay off quicker than they initially planned. Even the new CEO, Ashah, literally said in an interview that the plan that the old regime had was not good. And now everybody they're just trying to track back and just conform into one cohesive like company where you have your own exclusive product. Because I never thought I would see Gears of War and PlayStation. You know?
Well, it's not coming to PlayStation. That was one of the recent changes because everybody assumed.
No, because I still see it. I have it in my box now.
No, the new one. The latest one that's announced.
That's not coming to PlayStation.
That's not coming.
You see that, and that's the thing. Sorry to cut you off, Brendan, but that's the thing. Again, as a sole Sony player, when I see, and I said the main certain things bring you to the other product. With again, Halo, Gears of War, and other certain games, where I was like, you know what, I gave my Xbox away because I'm gonna get these things in PlayStation anyway. But now that you have this new Gears that I've been wanting to play Gears again, now I'm more interested.
Now you're like, okay, let me get my Xbox.
Yeah, let me get an Xbox.
But like that's the whole point, right? You want that I was gonna say Halo product, but you want that, that one product that you want to bring everybody to your platform, right? So it's like, okay, Gears, Halo. I want to go play these games on Xbox, so you go buy an Xbox. When the previous strategy was, well, you don't need an Xbox, and then all of a sudden they're like, why aren't we selling any Xboxes? It's like, what?
So, Brandon, you also think that this is a reaction of whoops, we messed up. This is not strategic with
it's multiple things. It's the purchase of Activision Blizzard. It's the purchase of some of these smaller studios that didn't kind of pay off. It's the Game Pass model. It's AI because Microsoft is so deep in it. It raised the price of their own console. They're getting rid of people and engineers and trying to get the AI to do some of their coding and stuff like that. And then the process of that, Windows ends up performing more like shit. And so they now have to switch strategies with that, being like, we're dedicated to making Windows good again. And so it's a confluence of just mistake after mistake after mistake. And unfortunately, these kind of game developers and, not big wigs, not executives, these kind of regular folks that's just trying to make a living have been impacted by this. Just because people in charge are kind of idiots.
Yeah, I mean that's normally the case in most of these corporations, no matter what industry. Most of the people up top are not making the best decisions, but everybody at the bottom is suffer when they have to revamp and figure it out.
Mm-hmm. But I think I like the new direction they're going though, right? Like I like what Asha's been doing. Unfortunately, she's getting a lot of heat for the layoffs, but it's like she just got there, and she was immediately judged because she's not a gamer or anything like that, but she's also making some of the right decisions. But now it's like she's doing the layoff, so it's like, oh no, you're bad now. It's like, no, this is going to happen whether she was head of Xbox or not, right? Like it's unfortunate, but I think some of the changes that they're making, I think they're definitely on the right track. Unfortunately, we're going to have to go through layoffs to get to a better Xbox.
Gotcha. What were you gonna say, Manny?
No, but I think in a way, some of those companies going independent will be a good thing.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. I'm so happy about that. When those layoffs happened and I saw that those studios are still around and going independent, I was so happy. So, 1,000% agree. One casualty though of this situation is IO Interactive, who just released the James Bond game, sold millions of copies, and they announced layoffs because they were working on a game that Microsoft was funding, And part of the layoffs and part of this new Xbox strategy was, oh, okay, we're going to pull funding from your game, IO Interactive. And so they didn't announce how many people, but it just feels crazy that no matter what you do in this industry, you're not safe from layoffs. You can make a hugely successful game, sell millions of copies within a few days, and still have to do layoffs. It's just unfortunate.
You got to make the overhead. Even what they own Call of Duty, right? And Candy Crush.
Yep, King that makes Candy Crush. So
yeah. So even with those two, they make about $4 billion a year together. I believe. That one,
and then Overwatch, and then Warcraft still exists.
Yeah. So, and that's not even close to making the overhead. How many years would it take to make 69 billion if they're making that much a year?
Oh yeah.
So unfortunately, because of the previous regime decision, people are going to suffer. But I'm pretty sure everybody, knowing those guys with their skills, said they'll find a job right away. But it just sucks,
Yeah, I mean, you say that, and I'm kind of in this industry, and it's brutal out here as far as getting work. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It has not been good, and every time there are layoffs, it's just going to make it harder for people who are already looking for work, and then the people who are recently laid off, it's going to be a struggle for them to find work. So all around, it's not a good thing.
Damn. So then let me ask you guys, with this, the fact that we do have I'll go back to the silver lining. There's a few studios that are going back to being independent. Do you think that is going to help as far as all of these layoffs? Maybe a lot of people may be able to come together and we get more independent studios start popping up again. Do you think that that's a possibility?
Oh, that's a yes, because in the gaming industry and the animation industry, I think with these layoffs and kind of these like big corporate companies, some of these big media companies, people are like, well, got laid off. What I'm going to do? And it's like, oh, I'm friends with that guy. I like working with this guy. I like working with her. I like working like whoever. And you're like, let's do our own thing. Let's make a game. And it's been more and more of that happening nowadays. And there are now like publishers that solely exist to publish and promote and foster in indie game development. So you don't necessarily have to go to the big dogs out there.
Right.
So I guess that's kind of another silver lining. And not everybody can do indie. I know that's such a easy thing to say. It's kind of happening in the animation industry. It's just like, oh, just go indie. It's like, well, that takes money also.
Yes, it takes money.
And a lot of times what ends up happening is you just kind of come together. It's like, oh, I got some savings. I got this, I got that. Maybe I can make it work for a year. And, a bunch of us just come together and just work on this thing. And like, nobody's worried about getting paid. Like, right. Like that's kind of, it's like, okay, maybe we use a few months of our severance and we work on something and see where it can go. So I definitely feel like that is an option. And again, like it's not an option for everyone, because some people is like, hey, I got family, I got kids, I got responsibilities. I need to get a job immediately. I can't sit around making some like indie game, and that's totally fine. But it's also good to see, artists kind of take control of their industry and take control of their work. So
yeah.
Plus, again, going back to these company going independent, it's just again Xbox. I think hopefully they learned their lesson with this as far as letting these big company acquire them, because there was I believe there was quite a few games that were canceled as soon as that acquisition happened, that I was very excited to see, because I'm a big open world MMO guy. And I think there's this one game, Fantasy Dragon, I think I wanted to play, and it got canceled abruptly. There probably at least 6 games that I remember that I wanted to play that were canceled by Xbox, like by last year. So I think now, hopefully, like these small independent company, they learn or they strike instead of being acquired, they make I would say a contract. Hey, we will do this work for you for this amount of time. Then when the contract is over, just go their separate ways. Because Xbox, they got very optimistic. I know we were talking about game, but the product was not the same as at that point. And I comparing something like Marvel, movies when Marvel first came out, to compare the CGI to then and now when they acquired all these studios that made CGI for them. If you look at the difference, or not just Marvel, all those other movies companies, if you look at the CGIs like from Pirates of the Caribbean till now, it's just like the same bullshit Xbox was doing. Like the product just kept getting worse and worse so far, and people lose interest at a certain point, and they go to your competition.
Mm. Ooh, that's throwing some shots out there. All right.
No, again, yes, we want more, but at a certain point, you have to let the artist do his job. You can't. I felt like it was a rush to get things out to get ahead of the competition. And
yeah, there are some titles that definitely I thought had a decent budget and I wouldn't say bad CG, but it definitely was lacking. I'm not gonna say those titles because it's gonna cause a whole nother argument conversation. People are gonna be mad at me. Okay, but there's a few out there where I've had my pants and everybody acts like it's the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, all right. So, Brandon, what you was about to say?
No, like that kind of, that the issue with that kind of stuff is kind of layered too, right? Because a lot of times what happens is, particularly on the movie side, it's even sometimes on the gaming side, is that the companies sometimes. What usually happens is I have a studio, you have a studio, you have a studio, and we're all bidding because, right, we all want to work on Marvel projects, right? Or we want to work on a Sony project or Xbox or like whatever. And so what ends up happening is we're so eager to work with these bigger companies that will say, hey, we'll do it for only this much, while the other company, right? And so what ends up happening is you end up underbidding on yourself. And so when you get the contract, you end up you're immediately behind because you don't have the budget to do this. And then immediately your employees are under crunch and they're working, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, 18 hours a day or whatever. And, that's not sustainable. And then you have some people, it's like, look, man, I'm not going to be doing that. I got a family, kids. I can't be working on this, And so what ends up happening is you just don't have the resources to make whatever you're making as good as possible. And a lot of times that's usually because of either underbidding on yourself, or if it's a company that's already wholly owned by another company, sometimes it's middle management or upper management not prioritizing certain things. And sometimes you'll even say like, hey man, we need this. Hey, we need that. Hey, we need that. And they just kind of like, nah, whatever, get it done. Right.
Right.
And so, unfortunately, sometimes you're just kind of stuck, right? So a lot of times it's not on the artists. Artists and developers are usually trying to do the best work they can. Sometimes they just don't have the support and resources they need to make the best product.
I got you.
So it just became
that goes back to saving money. That all goes back to saving money and like getting bigger profits, right? So
Manny, what I'm not going to ask.
I was just saying it just became redundant most of the time. Felt like it was the same thing being marketed towards the consumer all the time, and look at Call of Duty. It nothing. I don't feel like nothing has changed with Call of Duty. I'm not a big Call of Duty guy.
I stopped playing Call of Duty a long time ago, but seeing people's reaction to the last one, people really did not like that game.
It just felt.
I felt like maybe I felt a little vindicated. Maybe my vindication was maybe like 10 years too late.
Yeah, it was like, oh, you know what? Let's attach this celebrity to the trailer.
Yeah, they had so many. They had Nicki Minaj and like all kind of people, and then they were kind of doing the Fortnite thing too, where they had like guest characters, and it just didn't feel like the same game. It works in Fortnite because that's kind of what Fortnite is, right? Like it has this kind of look to it, and it's like you're playing Call of Duty and you're seeing like a cartoony Beavis and Butthead running around. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But even and even beyond that, people was just not happy with the previous game. Like, and I think that's another thing Microsoft is dealing with, right? They spent all this money on this company, and they're like big product that's supposed to sell bajillions of copies every year ends up being like one of the worst reviewed Call of Duties probably in years, to the point where people were just like, maybe I'm just done with this franchise, which is not a good thing.
Right.
So they're going to have to get fans back with the next one. Also, they need to not release one every year. It's not necessary.
Yeah. I mean, I think they were banking on that success to carry them through all these other endeavors that they were banking on.
And then, Battlefield kind of took a step back and was like, okay, we're gonna lock down, and we're gonna, do the best version of Battlefield that we could. And they did. Like, I think Battlefield 6 is great. And so people started going from Call of Duty to Battlefield because they realized like how much they didn't like the latest Call of Duty. And then they want that war game they want to play. And especially for streamers, it's like, oh, we want to stream something, but it's like, nobody want to watch me stream the latest Call of Duty. So it's like, okay, some of those streamers, it's like, okay, I guess I'm streaming Battlefield now. And some people had to get used to it because they're very different games as far as like how you play them. But the fact that EA, out of all companies, was the one that like looked at their product and said, okay, we want to make a better product, and then did it, and then gave competition to Call of Duty. That in general, I like competition, so I think that's a good thing. So
it's healthy.
Battlefield getting beat down by Call of Duty over the years caused Battlefield to step up their game,
right?
And then Call of Duty got comfortable, and so now Battlefield overtook them, and this is going to keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah,
so
competition
that's good.
Is necessary. Madden not having any competition is why that game, right? And then also NBA 2K not having any competition. I'm not as big of, I don't really play that as much either. The competition needs to be there to help everybody keep pushing the quality instead of just being like, well, they'll buy it. There's no one else. That's
exactly. The idea that they're buying it anyway, it's going to only last so long.
Right.
It's only going to last so long. And I think hopefully that was a rude awakening for Microsoft and Infinity Ward and Treyarch and all the Call of Duty developers out there.
We'll see, because
you don't seem too optimistic.
No, it's like, I'm excited, with the 25th anniversary of the games they have coming up, because these are games I like, Call of Duty. Halo. When Xbox came out, I used to bring my Xbox to my friend's house, and we set up 4 TVs together just to play Halo.
I'm actually excited. I'm excited for the remake, and I'm like, I don't have to buy an Xbox. I can just play it on PlayStation.
Yeah. And Gears of War, like,
right?
Gears of War, which
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying Gears of War is one of those games I love playing. I love the story. I love the lore. And hopefully, I'm not even going to say hopefully. Like I said, hopefully I change my mind later on and put some money towards. Because, again, now these consoles are not cheap anymore.
No.
That's a big investment. So you telling people to pay $800 to buy these games, then you put out bullshit. So it's like, what's the point?
I mean, and that's basically why I only have one console. Like, back in the day, back in
everything.
Yeah, back gonna drop a little lore on myself and Legacy Lingo, but we used to work for EV Games and GameStop back in the day, so we was playing everything. We had every system. Those are some good days, but I have to make a choice now because they're so expensive. It's like I only get one. I would love to have all three,
right?
But I have to kind of pick one for the kind of games that I like to play. So I tend to just lean PlayStation. So
absolutely,
yeah. I had a lot of fun with Halo though back in the day. That was some fun.
Yeah.
The pistol from the first one.
I was always about the pistol. So now that makes it. I want to move on to the second half of of this show, what we're going to talk about, and that is Sony announcing no more physical copies. No more physical copies as of 2028. That's when they plan to roll that out. I mean, some developers that may have games slated between now and then may choose to do something different. Obviously, Grand Theft Auto's doing no physical copy, which I still don't understand. You buy in the box, but it's not like a custom box. Whatever we talked about that in the Premium Delusion. Just go back and watch that and get in the comments. Let us know what you thought. But Sony now announcing that. What do you tell us, Brandon? What exactly do you think their intentions are? Why are we here? And then also let us know that we're going to talk about how long before everybody else gets 100% on board. But Brandon, I want you lead it off.
So, like most things, this comes back to money, right? I have a theory about why this is happening, though, which I'll get to. And I have no evidence of this. This is just my brain working. So Sony would have you believe that the data shows that most people buy digital, right? And there is some data out there that say that digital sales are very high. So in their head, they're like, okay, well, why even bother manufacturing physical copies? And again, it's money. So it's like, you have to, if you're a developer, you have to pay Sony a fee to be, to be on their platform, just like anything else. Like, right. If you're on the Google Play Store, if you're on the Apple iOS store or whatever, all these companies get a cut of the sales. Right. So if Sony owns a game, so if it's God of War, if it's Spider-Man, if it's Wolverine, and they sell you a digital copy, and that digital copy is $7, Sony gets $70. That Sony gets $70. There's no cut to the retailers. There's no cut to the developers because you own it. Now, if it's a third-party game, Sony doesn't take all of that, right? They sell the game, the studio gets a cut, and Sony gets a cut, right? When it comes to retail, retailers get a cut, the third parties get a cut, and Sony gets a cut. If you cut out the middleman, which is the retailers, then Sony just gets all the money.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the thinking, right? You're just looking at the economics of it. It's okay, well, we can just have more money. Now, I think there's a reason for that, which again, I said I'm gonna get to. But at the same time, like I'm pretty upset about this. I buy physical all the time. If I have a choice, I'm always buying physical. I know some people out there that don't. It's fine, but I also play a lot of different type of games. For some people, it's like if you just play Call of Duty and Madden. Shout out to the gun and ball gamers out there who don't play anything else. It's not going to matter for you, right? Because you don't have your PlayStation full of a bunch of different games. I bought an extra SSD because I easily run out of space just because there's so many different types of games that I like playing. So for someone like me, I'm like, y'all bet that thing better come, whatever the next console is, it better come with like 4 terabytes of storage if you're gonna force me to buy digital, right? But at the same time, like I don't think manufacturing Blu-ray discs does not cost that much. In the grand scheme of things, right? I'm not saying it costs nothing. What I'm saying in the grand scheme of things, when they're not spending billions upon billions of dollars making Blu-ray discs, right? It's in the millions, right? So I personally, as a consumer, think this is not a good idea. It's also going to hurt retail, right? So a lot of times right now, it's like, you could go to Target and get a game for $20. But if you look at the digital version of that same game, the game is $50. It might be $40. So the retailers that give you access to some of these games that some people normally wouldn't have access to, right? Because they can go to Target, Walmart, even GameStop and, get a used version. The used market is going to be gone now, basically. What about, hey man, I'm done with this game. You want to borrow it? And like, sharing it with your friend, like, how does that stuff work? It just feels very anti-consumer, right? Because I think choice is always good. And they're just taking away choice. And you can still go buy CDs right now. And the music industry will tell you, like, yeah, most people stream or most people download, right? but they still sell CDs. And
They do.
now, you know, people like going to vinyl and stuff like that. Like even I own vinyl. So, and there's been data showing that physical media is on the rise now because people realize, like, I want to watch a movie on Netflix, and it's like, oh, that movie was on there 2 years ago, but now it's gone. It's like, I can't watch it anywhere. Right. If I had the Blu-ray, I could just go watch the movie, right? If I had the DVD, I can just go watch it. So other industries are still holding on to physical media, and it looks weird when Sony is doing this.
Right, I see that. Before I hand it over to you, Manny, I do want to say I'm one that has the I don't buy physical copies anymore. And I have the version where I just buy the digital copy, and I'm okay with it. I could be wrong, but for me, it's when I've ever had to uninstall a game to make room for a new game, the game file is still separate. So for me, I'm not really losing. The only thing that scares me is, like you said, it's not guaranteed to be there forever. But I thought when I purchased it and it's in my library, I mean, it's still digital. They can do whatever they want. But for me, I've actually, I'll give you Spider-Man 2, for example. I uninstalled that to make room when I finally got caught up with the God of War Ragnarok and then the last Ghost of Yelty. I uninstalled it, but then I was craving it again. And so then I uninstalled the God of War and I reinstalled the Spider-Man, but my game save I never deleted my game save and I was able to jump right back into it. So for me, the digital world it's not as harsh on as far as you not having the size. You just have to, it's just a few more steps in order to get it. Yeah, maintenance and a few more steps, in my opinion. Now, some people still may not want to be bothered with that, and I could still use more.
Yeah, it's very annoying for me. I'm always deleting stuff.
Yes, and then reinstall it. I get that, and I do need more space. But
and everybody's internet not great, so now you got to okay, I installed it. That took 2 seconds. It's like, okay, how many hours I got to wait to install this game now?
That is true. I've been fortunate to not have that problem, but I could see it. Like, yeah, I want to play this now, and it'd be like 14 hours. I'm like, all right, well.
Let me go ahead and go to dinner and do some other stuff and
do something else. Right. I haven't had that happen, but I can see that. But I just okay, so I wanted to throw it out there because I am the digital type. So this announcement is not going to really negatively impact me, but I understand the concern and and as far as, like you said, some of the user-friendly ways we used to let people borrow games or whatever, things of that nature. And then also it's easier to just pop into this instead of doing all the uninstall and install. So I get you on that. Manny, how are you feeling about this Sony no physical copies?
Again, another thing I agree with Brendan. It's just to make money. When you have not only another third party selling the game, but you forget about the scalpers. Buying the game and selling at a higher rate than it's supposed to be, and you got people out there actually buying the games.
Grand Theft Auto 6
it was ridiculous seeing that on eBay people reselling a digital game. Like, you could just go and Sony and buy the game yourself, man. You paying $200 for a game. That was wild. Yeah. But I think with this. With how Sony made practically more than I think they produced the game back the day the game went on sale. Even though some other company haven't announced it, I think a lot of other as far as Xbox or Nintendo, they're definitely gonna go that route and seeing how much money Sony made. So
after Sony announcement, within the same day, I think that happened in the morning. By the end of the day, the Verge had an article saying that Microsoft have already in their plans to do this. They're testing it out now because they're testing a way for people that have being able to convert their physicals to digital whenever the next Xbox comes, because it might not have a disc drive. So how are you gonna convert your physical games to digital if you?
That's gonna be interesting. We're gonna definitely talk about that. Get more information on that.
Yeah, so they've been testing this out. So that's Sony's not alone for it. Sony's getting the heat for it, but Microsoft is in the loan. And don't forget now, because everybody loves to be like, "Oh, this is why I love Nintendo. They love me so much." It's like, none of these companies love you. Okay, they love your money. But the current Switch 2, there are games where you buy the game. There is no game on that cartridge. You put it in and then it downloads it. So like, it's not like nobody else is doing this. So I don't want to hear any of that. This company loves me. They're not going to do this to me. They're all going to do this.
Yeah, and I think it made a bigger noise because again, it's Grand Theft Auto, so it people were like, "What?"
I have a theory about that also.
But like you, Brendan, my PlayStation, I bought a internal hard drive just to have 2 more terabytes. But now, because I have games in there, I bought because I'm always buying. I start a game, this new one come out, it's like a kid in the toy store. Oh shit, I gotta play this one.
Oh,
this one's
my
in the
back catalog
burner.
is insane.
So there's games I have in my catalog that I still have it. And even with Grand Theft Auto, one day I'm just scrolling to the shop and I'm like, oh wait, Grand Theft Auto 3, 4, I gotta buy them. So I have all these games that probably I should be playing, but they're just piling up. The only good thing, again, with like Eddie said, with the digital, it's just convenience, you know? Because most of us, we're adults now, work, you know, things. Most of the time, we don't want to go to the store and wait in line just to buy a CD or want to leave your house. You'd rather do it at the comfort of your home.
I still just buy a line.
Outside is ghetto, you know? Outside is ghetto.
And if it comes a day later, then whatever. Like,
yeah,
I'm usually okay with that.
But most of the time, if I go to GameStop, it's probably to buy like a figure or something or a new controller. But now you could get everything online. I think the thing that people fear the most is the talk about not owning the game itself.
Right.
Because when I initially had the game was coming out, I wanted to buy the digital and the physical copy because I want the physical copy as, you know, just to have it there. Because I know most of the time when they sell like a ultimate copy, they have some type of like, you know, statue or something collectible with the item. I did that with Ghost of Tsushima. I did that with God of War. So these games, but now I don't know how the physical copy is gonna look. If it's just because I know it's just gonna be the code, but is it coming with something? Because I will still buy it. If it's coming with something, I'm still gonna buy it.
Yeah.
But just the fact that you might not own it, because one day Sony could decide, hey, because even I heard that if after a certain amount of time, if you don't play your game on PlayStation, they'll delete your account or something like that. I didn't get too much detail as far as that. Maybe so.
Yeah, it's like a lot of stuff like that. They're gonna have to change, right? They're gonna have to really dig in and find ways. If they're serious about this, they're gonna have to find ways to keep the consumer happy because right now the consumers are not happy for what's to come, right? And they're gonna have to really dig it deep and find a system that's good for everyone. Because I'm already thinking, right? Like I mentioned, like the retail sales. There's no incentive for Sony to give sales on digital copies. There's not. Like they do summer sales and stuff like that, but you think, you know, if Amazon decides to, you know, have a game for $20 when it's normally $50 on the PlayStation Store just because they got overstock, like Sony's there's no such thing as overstock on the PlayStation Store. So there's no incentive for them to drop prices of games even just for a sale. And then from the beginning, I always thought that physical copies and digital copies should not cost the same.
Right.
That math is already, so they've been already getting extra for that because if they sell a digital copy, there's nothing to manufacture. I've always thought that if you're going to sell a physical copy for $70, the digital needs to be at least $60, $65, right? But again, so they were already kind of getting over on us with that. And so now I just think it's just going to get worse. I hope I'm wrong, you know, and everything is fine and we can still get deals on games and stuff like that. But I just don't feel like it's going to happen mainly because they need to make money. Also, you mentioned Grand Theft Auto 6. This is my current theory as far as that. I think there's no way that this announcement happened a week after the Grand Theft Auto announcement, right? And then Sony was marketing Grand Theft Auto 6 as the best way to play Grand Theft Auto. They even changed the mobile Sony PlayStation app. They even changed it to look like the Grand Theft Auto 6. There's no way that these companies made these announcements separately, independently, not knowing the other one was going to do it. No way in hell. So my current theory, and again, this is just me, I have no insider information, is that Sony knew what they were going to do. Microsoft knew what Sony was going to do. Rockstar knew what Sony was going to do. And they just said, all right, Rockstar, make your announcement. You're going to get heat for it, but everybody's going to buy Grand Theft Auto 6. So that comes out. Rockstar gets some heat, but most everybody's like, I'm buying it anyway, right? They're making excuses for Rockstar and why this is okay, right? And then Sony a week later is like, okay, well, you took some of the heat, we'll come and make our announcement, and they're getting obliterated for it. Like Sony can't make any kind of post without people being in their comments. Like stuff not related to PlayStation. It'll be Spider-Man Brand New Day. Be like, get your tickets today, and then like all the comments are about physical copies, and it's just like they're going through it right now.
They can't escape it. They can't escape it.
And my other theory about why they're doing this, obviously money, right? But this is what I think. So I think we talked about this in the delusional, or like, is it a scam? Is it corporate hubris?
Mm-hmm.
These next consoles are going to be very expensive, mainly because of the hardware prices. So there's a report, I believe it was Insider Gaming, had that the materials for the PlayStation 6 is at $960. And normally Sony takes a loss when they make consoles, right? And they make up for it by selling software. Now this price is $200 more than expected. It's $200 more when they were originally developing the PlayStation 6. So let's say it was at $760. They sell it for $400 or $500, and they lose, a couple $100. This thing is $960. They can't sell it for $500 anymore because they're going to lose so much more money because of the cost of manufacture, like skyrocketed within a year. Right. And then Sony themselves came out and said that they're trying not to do the loss lead strategy. Not to say that they're gonna price these things to be profitable immediately. It's just more like, we're not willing to lose more money than we have to on these new consoles.
Right.
So my current theory is, again, this is just me, no insider information, is that they might have to go digital to make more money to cover the cost that they're going to lose for the console itself. So I think this has nothing to do with PlayStation 5. It has everything to do with the PlayStation handheld that's coming and the PlayStation 6. So I think this is a way to cover those costs, because if your console is going to be $960 to manufacture, you release it at $500, you're essentially losing almost half the cost, right?
Right.
And so if you can do $600, but then all the games are digital, then you can kind of make up for it. That's my theory.
I don't think they're gonna do $600. These fucking assholes, they're gonna charge us arm and a leg, half of a rent. Because again, a lot of us, we're gonna say, damn, the price is high, but especially if you love playing games, you're a gamer, shit. You put money. Before I bought my PlayStation, I was putting $100 to the side just to get it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even buy it from the store, because when PlayStation, the PS5 came out,
oh yeah, you couldn't get it.
It was
anywhere.
hard to get one. And COVID, and when COVID happened, people were selling them shits for like what, $7 or $8, and I paid that from a scalper because it was hard to find it.
I paid $650.
So now knowing
How much
that
is the Pro? The Pro is what, nine something right now?
nine. God, yeah,
Yeah, because it went up because of
yeah. So
the manufacturing costs.
knowing the fact that people will go and spend that money, I don't think they're gonna give us any type of discount into buying those games. Even digitally, well, sometimes they have a sale on PlayStation. Even right now, I believe Red Dead Redemption 2 is still at a high cost, almost
Yeah, that's
still
why I
60
still don't
bucks.
have it.
And God of War. But like games like these, I don't think we'll ever get a discount on them. But I believe they're really trying to move away from other stores, like other companies, to sell their own product.
Yeah, like I mentioned GameStop. Like there was a report maybe a month ago that GameStop was looking to buy eBay, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because what a lot of people don't know is GameStop and EB Games, they make their money from used games. They don't get much for new games. They make their bread and butter, it comes from used games. So for them to be like, we're buying eBay, I'm like, this makes complete sense from a company standpoint and how they can fit together, because they're both in that kind of used market, right? And so to me, them buying eBay becomes even more important now that Sony made this announcement. And I'm now curious, is like, what did GameStop know about this for them to all of a sudden out of nowhere be like, okay, we're trying to buy eBay? Like, did they hear behind the scenes that Sony was going to do this, and it was like, this is going to kill our business, so we need to find a way to stay alive, so let's buy eBay? You know what I mean? So
But
the retailers, I think, are going to hurt. Retailers are going to hurt, and young people without any money are going to hurt the most from this, I believe.
no,
Because
in
it's
a
going to
way,
kill GameFly. I have friends that use GameFly to play games. That's going to be gone. That market is gone now, you know?
but I wonder if they do eventually move away from that. Let's say I want to buy a gift for somebody, like a game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I have to buy a gift card, or can I just buy the code and like?
I mean, I think you can buy codes now, right? Like if you
on PlayStation, I don't believe so.
Not
You
yet.
have to buy the code at GameStop or something, or Walmart.
No, you can buy a digital like gift card for PlayStation Store.
Yeah,
the
gift card. But what if I just want to buy the game?
Itself? Then
yeah,
I'm sure
I don't know if gifting games is a thing. I'm sure that's going to come, right? That has to come.
Listen, we came up with it here first at the Critics Collective. Pay us. I'm sorry, but I'm sure that they'll find a way for you to make a purchase and gift, and that person has a certain amount of time to download it. Like, maybe it's sent to them direct message or to their profile, and they have a certain amount of time to open it and download it, or otherwise it expires. And I'm sure they'll come up with something. That's not really.
It's like, Mom, I want some games for Christmas, and it's like, you either get the empty boxes or you already purchased them digitally for them, and they load up their system, and it's already there.
Or we go the gift card route, and they just take those credits and type it in.
Yeah.
This takes forever. I hate that shit.
No, yeah. But this digital route, I'm skeptical about it. Again, sometimes I get lazy. I don't want to go to a store and buy stuff. I'd rather be at home. But the other side is like, again, maybe it's good because of scalpers. Maybe more people will be prone not to paying more than what the game is worth. But again, it's like, what happened when those corporations decide, you know what, let's take this game away from this person, or let's do that, or you can't update the game because you don't own it, or you have they start charging you to update the game.
Oh my God!
One thing we didn't mention is that paired with this announcement was the fact that they were closing the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation Vita stores on PlayStation Network. So, people are thinking, what if in the future they just decide to all right, you just can't buy the PS4 games, PS5 games digitally when the PS7 comes out. And then all your games are just going into the ether. There's no I still literally have PlayStation 1 games. I have PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2 games, PlayStation 3 games, physical copies. And if I wanted to find a way to play it, I could, right? But if you're making these storefronts, digital storefronts, and then they decide at some point that it's not worth it keeping it alive because nobody's buying it, and when I say nobody, it's just a smaller percentage than they would like, then they can just decide to close the store. So I understand people's, skepticism, like Manny said, because at any point they could close it. Like, will they? Hopefully not.
I don't pass it by them.
Right.
It is a scary thought. It is a scary thought. Yeah. And
because again, us as a consumer, we don't like inconvenience, and the size is gonna be, damn, you know what? I'll just pay it. Or even if you have to wait another week for a paycheck, because people will pay it. And there's people that literally live their life like to, hey, you know what? I'm gonna pay for this, and we're probably they have those consumer out there who are willing to spend it, travel to go to those convention and spend all that money for their product. But I think we're getting to the point of people being like, I'm not paying that, right? Because there have been people canceling their PlayStation subscriptions. People have been like, I'm never buying a PlayStation again. Like, granted, it's the internet. People are going to say stuff like that, right? Yeah. The internet is not real life. Like I always keep saying, but I think what we've seen from the Steam Deck or the Steam Box, or Steam Machine, I always call it.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I almost called it the Steam Cube the other day.
What we saw from the Steam Machine, people are not like, I don't want to pay $1,000 for a console. So this is why I think Sony won't push it that far. I think they're going to try to be reasonable, because you can see the writing on the wall that people are not willing to pay that much for some of this stuff, because it's just people are getting priced out about it, out of their favorite hobby, because of AI and RAM prices and stuff like that. So I think that I still think Sony is going to try to keep whatever the console is.
Keep it under 700.
Yeah, or it might just be right at 700.
I fingers crossed. Because
if they drop that thing at 1,000, all bets are awesome. I'm not getting it at $1,000 probably.
What you about to say, Manny? Because I got a question I want to throw out there.
I don't know. When is supposed to release the Steam Deck?
Okay, Steam Machine.
Steam Machine.
It's already out.
It's already out?
It's already out.
The numbers haven't come out yet for the sales?
No, I don't think so. But like the fact that you didn't even know it was out says something to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not making waves.
No, because that's one thing I wanted to get, because I have PlayStation, the Switch, the Quest. I had an Xbox, but I want to get one again. So I want to try them, but $1,000, goddamn.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's not even with a controller.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, because separate. Oh
yeah. Yeah. So
the separate another 100.
So now my question is,
100.
And this, of course, you can have fun with this one. My question, and I will start with you, Manny. Because for me, I'm not gonna buy another system unless two things happen. I'm not gonna buy, let's say PlayStation drops the PS6 in the next year or two, right? I'm not even thinking about it unless one or two things happen. One, there's an exclusive title that I just have to have. Or two, they're not servicing my PS5 anymore and I have no choice, which they're not going to do that right away. They may do some older generation, like Brandon said, but they're not going to do from 6 to 5 and just cut off the 5 and force 6. They know that piss everybody off. So for me, I'm not even looking at unless there's an exclusive title I have to have. So my question to you, Manny, and then I want Brandon to answer the same question. What is that title that'll make you pay for $1,000 PS6? What is that exclusive title that'll make you be like, damn it, I have to play this game? If they release a new one.
It's not even the title with me. Any open world game, like Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption.
Just love it.
Just love it. Like Cyberpunk, The Witcher. I will pay that.
Wow, that's what's
like
up.
Right now. I think Fable. I don't know if it's.
Oh, Fable.
I know it was Xbox exclusive,
Xbox exclusive, right?
It's coming to PS5.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So when I heard it, that's another reason I was gonna buy the Fable, because I love that game and all the stuff you're able to do. But games like this, I will pay $1,000 for the product.
Okay. Wow. All right, Brandon. What?
It depends on what my life is like in that point.
Let's not even think reality. Let's just have fun with it. What is a title, a franchise, whether they bringing it back or it currently exists? What is an exclusive title that you'd be like, oh, if there's another one, it's only PS6, I gotta have it.
Like if let's say like if Konami like brought back Zone of the Enders, something like that, I'm like, I'm buying it. I'm buying it. Or if Sony decides like, okay, we're gonna do another Uncharted, or if it's the next Horizon game, I'm probably gonna buy it.
Those are good exclusives.
So yeah. I'm just hoping it's not $1,000.
You're like, well, please don't be. Please don't be.
And I'm also curious, are they gonna like once things stabilize now? SK Hynix, one of the RAM developers, one of the RAM makers out there, already said that 2027 is going to get worse for RAM prices. So I'm just curious, like, will we ever see these current console prices come back down? I don't know. And I think that just messes with the whole plan for the next generation. I said it before, I'll say it again. They need to put it on pause. We don't need it. I feel like everybody's very satisfied with the graphic fidelity that we're getting right now.
What I got right now. Very
satisfied. I don't think we need it.
If they dropped one, I'm not looking to get it unless there's a.
And the problem is they kind of stuck, because if they don't release and they push it, then the technology moves so fast. It's just like, okay, now the hardware is old.
True.
And they spend years kind of developing these chips in collaboration with AMD. Right. So it's like, you know, maybe they don't push it 3 years, but maybe they push it a year. I don't know.
That's interesting.
We'll see.
We'll see.
It seems like I was looking it up. The Steam Deck, they sold about, I keep saying Steam Deck.
Steam Machine.
Yeah, they sold about
yeah, they gonna kill us in the comments.
4 million units.
They've sold 4 million?
Machine?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Well, yeah, way more than I thought.
Yeah.
Now I gotta find somebody to buy this, because our question on that episode was who is this for? And I need to find out.
Where's the sales data coming from?
Google.
What is it? What's the source?
I mean, like, where is Google sourcing it from?
Probably
Valve. Sometimes I don't trust the AI overview.
It's probably
could be wrong.
They probably got it from Valve directly. I was like, yeah, we sold 4 million. Sure.
But Valve the kind of company, they rarely give out numbers like that. Oh, okay. I see what you're looking at. That's the Steam Deck. So the Steam Deck has sold 4 million copies. There's no numbers on the Steam Machine yet.
Steam Machine is the next generation, right?
The Steam Deck is the handheld. Steam Machine is the console. So Steam Deck has been out for a few years now. So, and it's sold very well.
Well, then they put out a new one, Steam Deck?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they put out an updated one.
Okay.
They updated like the screen. I think some of the controls.
It's like OLED now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, but there's no Steam Machine sales data, and it's been a month basically.
Yeah. All right.
I think they know the data. I don't think anybody's rushing to put it out there if we don't have it yet.
Yeah, because you know that there are some people that would hear something that's not as impressive, be like, oh well, maybe I don't want it. You know, there's some people that actually think that way instead of actually going by if it works for them or not.
Right. They're like, oh, the sales data are low, so I guess I'm not buying it. It's like, what they got to do with you?
Right. If it's going to work for you, then go get it. You know, it doesn't matter what. But that's how a lot of the consumers are. They let stuff like that influence them. Yeah. So this is a good talk. The downsizing of production. You know, the conversation here. The layoffs of Microsoft, crazy. The physical copies, even though Sony is leading the charge, like Brandon says, this seems like something that like he said, Nintendo's already been doing. People, a little chip you in, you're really still just downloading on some of these copies, and it seems like everybody is eventually taking part. The question is, how long before it's across the board? Are they gonna let Sony lead the charge a little longer before everybody fully commits to it? Is Xbox, Microsoft going to wait to the next system, or are they gonna? Who knows? It's gonna be interesting to see.
I kind of think Sony's gonna pull back on it. I actually do think that.
I don't think so.
I do. I think a partial pullback, not like a full, like we're not doing it anymore. It'll be like, okay, we won't do it until 2030. And then by that point, nobody will care, right?
2030.
Because it just goes back to the product.
Now it's not happening until 2028.
2028, yeah.
So if they just push it, it's like, okay, we'll still do a couple more years of this. I think they'll do a partial pullback.
Maybe certain titles will be digital,
right? But I still think it's fully coming. It's coming.
It's fully coming, but maybe and
it doesn't matter what.
They should just give us both options. Okay.
Well, that's what we've been having.
I mean, that's what we have now. I think they're going to start making certain titles digital only.
But I think they want to keep a hold of the consumer, like again, to make that money, that overhead. But I don't think they're going to pull back because, again, when you have the product and people want it, because a lot of people are saying, hey, when I don't care how much Grand Theft Auto is going to cost when it comes out, I'm paying it. $200, $300, I'm paying it. And people, when it came out, everybody bought the ultimate version. I bought the ultimate version. That's when I didn't even wait. So I believe people will pay for it.
We're gonna have to wait and see. Then it's gonna be interesting. And of course, we're gonna keep track of it and keep having these conversations. And you guys get in the comments and let us know. Do you think Sony is gonna hold back? Do you think they're gonna give us kind of a mixture, blend? Do you think that they're doing this so they can give us that next generation system at a comfortable price point instead of $1,000?
Was a good word.
Let us know what you guys think, and of course, we're going to engage you in the comments. We look forward to having these conversations, and we'll be doing more discussion involving everything in the gaming industry. As things come out, we will continue to talk. We got San Diego Comic-Con that's about to go down, so I'm sure there'll be some stuff that we'll be back talking about. And if you guys like what we're doing and you want to support this channel, please make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on your alerts so you can join our collective community and stay engaged. All right, so this was the Critics Collective, our unpopular opinion discussion about downsizing production in the gaming industry. I'm Legacy Lingo. I got Manny, the not so super fan here, and Brandon V. Fletcher, and we will see you on the next one.